Up next, Larry Norris is the co-founder of Decriminalized Nature, which began in Oakland, California in 2019 and has sprouted across the U.S. DN-related policy has now passed in 7 cities nationwide, with at least 3 more cities looking to pass before the end of the year. He is also the co-founder of Entheogenic Research, Integration, and Education, or ERIE, a nonprofit organization which offers education and integration support for those interested in entheogens. Please welcome Larry Norris.
Hello, everybody. Thank you all for being here today. It's pretty exciting to be here on Michigan campus in front of the Diag. I went to school here, graduated in 1998. When I studied this research, go blue. When I studied this research back in the day, it was pretty stigmatized. Not a lot of people would talk about it. So it's amazing now, 23 years later, here I am talking about this amazing work. So really beautiful to see all the wonderful people that are here. Thank you. Give yourself a round of applause for being here and for helping to change this movement that's happening across the U.S. And so, as Q was saying, I'm originally, I'm out in Oakland right now. We co-founded Decriminalized Nature Oakland, passed it in June of 2019. Since then, 7 different cities have passed across the U.S. that have passed DN-related policy, including Ann Arbor, which is pretty impressive. Let's hear it for Ann Arbor. Let's hear it for Councilmember Ann Bannister and a bunch of other folks who made that happen here and really pushed that forward. And Michigan is one of the 3 states right now that are really on top of the game. They're leading the way. That's including California, Massachusetts, and Michigan. They're the 3 ones. So give yourself a round of applause for having a type of place that can really talk about the conversation about nature, about sacred plants and fungi, about our sovereign relationship to being able to heal with ourselves, to be able to grow our own, to be able to gather our own, to be able to connect in community, really important things that are happening. So it's really exciting to be here today. If you haven't heard already, there's a huge line already over there, but go sign, I'm sure someone else will say this as well, go sign something for SB 631, which is recently introduced Michigan state legislation, which would decriminalize entheogenic plants and fungi for the entire state of Michigan. Really impressive. Big round of applause to the Michigan Ann Arbor team for putting that together. It's a really simple legislation. It doesn't need to be complicated. It doesn't need to have a lot of legalese in it. It's just really saying, hey, these plants should not be criminalized. They should have never been criminalized in the first place. We don't need to have new science to show, that these things need to be criminalized, because the science has been there for thousands of years. People have been working with these plants and medicines for thousands of years. I think the first cave paintings in Algeria are from 9,000 BC, so that's 11,000 years of research. So when the medical practitioners say we need more research, they're not really paying attention to the right kind of research, right? We don't necessarily need the peer-reviewed journals. We have the research. So now it's about connecting with each other. Now it's about finding ways to engage with each other in community and finding ways to heal in the best possible way. So we do have a lot of work to do. We obviously are rebuilding culture. A lot of this has been stripped away from many of our cultures, our ancestors' cultures, for thousands of years. But this isn't just about the medical benefits. This isn't just about the health benefits. This is about personal and spiritual growth. This is about learning to be a human being on planet Earth, something we forget about. We're sort of disconnected from nature, disconnected from our community. So when people say, yes, it's good for depression, yes, it's good for anxiety, yes, it's good for PTSD, what it's really about is it's good for connection, it's good for relating, it's good for spirit, it's good for sacred. And so those are the things that we really try and prop up in this conversation about entheogenic plants and fungi. So it's, as I mentioned earlier, it's really exciting. There's so many wonderful people here you're going to hear from later today, and it's really exciting to see this happening on Ann Arbor campus. I went to the Hash Bash in 94 to 98, and I was really excited to see what's happening here. And this is the first annual Entheo Fest, so I think we'll be seeing many more of these. And thank you, everybody, for being safe and responsible out there and doing this in a real kind of way and understanding the sacred nature of these plants. And I don't know who I'm supposed to be looking at for time or what I'm doing on that or how much time I have left. Doing good. Okay, great. So a little bit more. So what are we decriminalizing? What's actually on the resolution? We look at 4 main categories, but when you really open it up, there's thousands and thousands of plants and plant combinations. We just aren't familiar with the plants that are out there. So the ones that we're looking at, the main ones we're focusing on, mushrooms containing psilocybin, cacti containing mescaline, plant combinations similar to ayahuasca that contain DMT. DMT and MAOI are basically the ayahuasca concoctions. So ayahuasca is a modulation of DMT, so it can be orally active. There's about 4,000 different combinations of plants that have that. And then also plants containing ibogaine. So iboga is a plant that comes from West Africa, from Gabon region, but there's also volcanga, there's star jasmine, there's lots of other plants that have ibogaine in it. And that's been really useful for helping people connect with their ancestors. Recently, they've also found it's been really valuable for helping people with opioid substance issues. And same thing with a lot of the other plant medicines here. They're good for substance issues and things like that, like ayahuasca, and also with mushrooms. So those are the four main things. And like I say, we really try and emphasize more than just the medical, more than just the mental health issues. But expand into all the other ways that people are doing this, from the personal and spiritual growth side of things. I'm also interested in doing a lot of integration work. This is kind of the aftercare of an experience. So after somebody has a big, profound experience, they're like, wow, I didn't really think sacred existed, or there was no such thing as spirit in my worldview before. And now there's this experience that really opens up this opportunity for spirit, this opportunity for the sacred to connect with the sacred. What do you do with that information? And so really we encourage people here. It's happening with the Michigan Psychedelic Society and other groups as well. Encourage people to get together in community and share and say, hey, I had this profound experience. What do you think about that? And then have other people reflect on their own profound experiences. And this is just a way to connect with each other so that if down the road somebody has a bad experience or a challenging experience, not bad experience, but a challenging experience, there can be people there that can help each other out, and we can sort of move forward in a good way, learning together. This is also a conversation that we're now in a space where we can really bring together the elders of the other ages, the indigenous groups of the other ages, the current contemporary models, and really kind of learn together, what does this look like? How do we work best with these practices? What's the best set and setting? What's the ceremonial context mean? Why do we do it? What other techniques have been learned by indigenous cultures or ancient people from around the world? What has the underground been doing for us? And how they've been helping us in this process. And so to really acknowledge that, I know here there's a push, as I said earlier, push for the medical, push for the clinical. A lot of them don't have the personal experiences, so they're gonna really need to draw upon the wisdom of you all who know about these experiences, who've had these experiences before, and who have done some healing from these experiences. So I just wanna give a shout out to all the teams in Michigan that are doing such amazing work. There's Decrim Nature Grand Rapids over there. Oh, we got Decrim Nature Wisconsin. There's a lot of Decrim Nature teams. Obviously, Decrim Nature Ann Arbor. There's some tables back there with Hazel Park and Madison Heights. We got Mid-Michigan happening as well, Lansing, East Lansing, and of course the statewide legislation happening in the corner over there. Please go ahead and sign for SB 631. They'll be sending a letter off to the Judiciary Committee soon. And once you get that process rolling, it might take a little bit, but it's all about people power, right? Get out there. Talk to your senators, talk to your House representatives, make sure that they understand the importance of sacred plant medicine, and make this pass in Michigan, because if you pass, you'll be ahead of California. And this is kind of fun. I'm in California, and it's nice to see Michigan really being above and beyond, kind of doing more than California's doing. So you're much more progressive than they are at this point, which I think California doesn't like too much. But hey, the fresh coast, that's where it's at, right? So right on. So I don't know if I'm still getting a time check or if I can just keep talking. I can continue talking. Okay, good. All right. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Thank you, Larry.